I want to update the firmware of my Seagate Exos X18, but the procedure is the same for the X16 to X22. The easiest way is to use ctools for Windows, but unfortunately in my case, this tool crashes after a few seconds. It still says please wait while setup is complete. So the easiest way is to create a USB flash drive with the SeaChest utilities. You can also download this from the Seagate website. You go here to bootable tools and SeaChest, and from here you can create the USB pen drive. Please select the language, English, USB bootmaker utility, next, I accept. Please select the USB pen drive, so drive G, this will erase and replace all data on the USB pen drive, I agree. Create, about to format the drive, yes. The USB bootmaker utility is being installed. It should take around 1 minute. Once this is done, you need to send the firmware to the pen drive. System, text-based. Okay, close. Now the firmware, I have it here. Exos BP X18 in my case. So we copy and we create a folder on the cboot pen drive called, for example, firmware, and we place the file inside. Okay, now all I need to do is to boot the computer with this USB pen drive. So I'm going to restart while pressing Shift, and it will give me access to the special operating system mode. You need to keep pressing Shift all the time while you are clicking the mouse. So now I choose use a USB device, a pen drive or recovery DVD of Windows, and I choose my removable drive. You can also boot from the BIOS if you want. There are several ways to do it. In my case, it's press F11, but it might be different in your case. It also works for other series like the Seagate Exos X16-X24. So you need to boot the computer with the drive you created. You can boot in UEFI mode or in non-UEFI. Let's try with the non-UEFI in this case. You install the SeaChest utilities on Windows, and from there you can create the pen drive. I had to do this because in my case, ctools utility wasn't working, probably some issues with the net framework. In this case, my hard disk is the X18 of 18 terabytes that I'm going to update. So the first thing I need to do is to make sure that I have the firmware file on the pen drive. It's something you need to do, you need to copy it. So I created a folder called firmware. And here I have my firmware file. Here it is, Evans BP X18.ld. I'm going to create another folder called secure firmware, or let's call it like this. Now I need to modify the permissions of secure firmware. Now I need to copy the file from mount SDF1. This is my USB drive. It can be different in your case. Firmware events x18.lod, and I'm going to copy to a file in the secure firmware folder. Let's call it firmware x18.lod. There's another step. I need to modify the permissions of the file. Okay. chmod. Okay, there you go. And now finally the firmware update itself. I need the utilities, SDF1, command line tools, Linux, Wine64, SeaChest, firmware, -D, and now the drive. So again, the handle of my drive, that in my case is dev sg7 -download firmware, and now my firmware file, in this case it will be secure firmware x18.lod. So once I press enter, it will update the firmware on my Seagate Exos unit. There you go. Firmware download successful. Firmware download times 5 seconds, and I have the new firmware. So the firmware file is about 2.6 megabytes, and you can send it from the Windows Explorer. That's it.